Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
I'm Sam Healy.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, already.
So, The Godfather, Corleone's Empire, a game I knew about
Corleone.
like way over a year ago. Got to play this.
I'm gonna take this game from your hands and put it into my hands. And then we're going to play that game and have fun.
This is a game from Eric M, based on the Godfather movies, and it's like the first Godfather game I played that I was excited about. Because usually they're like, it's Godfather, the dice game.
Yes.
Godfather, the
Yahtzee.
party game.
Yeah.
No, really, there's a lot of that stuff out there. And it's kind of a movie that's begging for a thematic game based on it. Anytime we play a mobster game at all, someone's quoting from The Godfather.
Sure.
So it makes sense that there's a thing based around this.
Yeah.
At the same time, the expectations are here.
True.
With Eric Lang, they're higher. Coolman, you're not. Miniatures. Is it as good as it sounds with all those combinations? Let's find out. So this is the board. I have it set up here for a 5-player game, but the only difference, there's some differences, and some spots are only used with 4 or 5 players. And so players are going to be trying to get the most points in this game. And most of the points you're going to be getting is through money. You're going to have a suitcase. Each player has a little metal suitcase, and as the game goes by, they're going to be able to put money cards into their suitcase. Now, what's interesting about this game is there's 1, 2, 3, and 5 money cards, but there's never change made. So if you get a 5 money card, you definitely want to get that one in your suitcase if possible. Also, as the game goes by, players are going to control in different areas on the board by placing control markers there. And I should stop here for a moment and mention that the pieces do not come painted like this. Someone in my game group painted the pieces for me. But they're very easy to tell apart color-wise. But anyway, at the end of the game, the most control tokens you have, whoever has the most control tokens in each region on the board is going to get 5 points or $5 for that region. And also, people are going to get points for having finished the most jobs of each of the different colors. This is a yellow job, for example. Whoever's done the most of these jobs is going to get points at the end of the game. The game takes place over 4 rounds, and there's a little model of Don Corleone to keep track of each of the acts, the rounds, and each act, there's a police car up here to keep track of what you do. The first thing you do in an act is you're going to bring out a new business. There's different businesses. Many are printed on the board, but other ones will show up, and it will always show up in the lowest numbered area. 1 is full, 2 is full, 3 is full, 4 has an open spot. And in the last 2 acts, you draw from a different pile because these are bigger and badder businesses. They show up in the second half of the game. Then, players are going to be taking actions. Now, each player is going to start with 2 thugs and their Don. Now, the thugs have square bases, and their heir has a round base. In acts 2 and 4, you're going to get more of the folks with round bases. You get a consigliere and an heir. And there are other characters who might go in a different base, like you can hire this guy, or you use this union boss here, can fit into a round spot on the board. But there are round spots and there are square spots, and they can only go in matching spots. If you're playing a 2-player game, by the way, you get a 3rd thug. Yay! So on a player's turn, they're going to take actions. If you ever don't have someone to place on the board, then you're done, even if you wanted to take other actions. You got to be careful when to finish this off. One of the things you do is you can place a family member on a round circle, or you can place a thug onto a building on a square spot. Now, each building has the front of this business is a business, the front of the business and the back of the business. When you put a thug in the front of a business, first of all, you stop anyone else from going there. Secondly, you get whatever it says. This one here gives you a 3 money card. The back of the business is for when you place a round family member in a spot. They get the back of all the businesses of the spot. So this one is great. This one is adjacent to 3 regions, so he would get that $1 bill. He would get to draw 2 job cards and keep 1. He would get to stick 1 card in his briefcase, and he would get to take one of this is like a resource token. So we have weapons, we have money, we have alcohol, and later on in the game, these might show up from some businesses. This is drugs. Not supposed to be dealing in drugs, but this counts as a wild of any of those 3 types of resources. So these can be pretty powerful, especially at the end of each round. You're going to determine who controls a region by whoever has the most in that region. So purple would have 2 here in Wall Street, and let's say green put 1 here. Purple still has it. Although if green had a family member there, it'd be a tie and nobody would get it. So you got to be very cautious. So like I said, most of these spots on the board are going to give money. They're going to give those 3 different resources. They allow you to put things into your briefcase. This one here gives you the horse head token, which allows you to go first in the next round. So players are going to take turns putting these down on the board. Instead of putting something on the board, you can play a job card. Now players are going to start with some job cards, and they can also do these public job cards, which are next to the board. This one requires 3 guns. Gun down all enemy player figures in 1 turf. So I pick 1 turf, and I'll be like, you're all gunned down. So they all go to the river. They're out of that round. And I get 2 $3. So I get those. That's exciting. And I get to stick this card into my suitcase to show I completed it and for endgame bonus purposes. So these can do all sorts of things. They can attack other players. They can manipulate the board as you do these different jobs. At the end of a round, after everyone has finished taking their actions, there's a bribery phase down here at the bottom. There will be allies based on the number of players. Players will secretly bid money that's already in their suitcase. So you'd put the money in the lid and bid, and whoever bids the most gives it up and picks one of these cards. These cards will go into your hand, and you can play them once every act. And sometimes they let you control the neutral figures. Like, for example, this mayor, I can move him to an unoccupied family member space and get the back of all businesses in the adjacent turfs. Just like it's like having an extra family member, the difference being he doesn't give you any majority bonuses. This one here, for each turf you control, add a $1 bill to your suitcase. That's pretty neat. This guy here, a tax advisor, just lets you stick something in your suitcase. And this guy moved the union boss to an unoccupied thug space, shake down in front of that business like a thug. So it's like having a free thug. And you got the police officer who you can send around to take other people out. And these are going to be different for each act. Now, here's an interesting part of the game. If you look up here, in each act, you'll notice that there is a number of cards listed here. This here shows you the building that comes out, and you also get an extra family member in these acts. But there's a number of cards. If you have over that number of cards, you have to discard them. It's kind of your tribute to Don Corleone. Well, you're going to have a lot of cards in your hand. You're going to have money cards in your hand. You're going to have resource cards in your hand. You're going to have job cards in your hand. And if you get these allies, you'll have them in your hand also. So you have to discard down to that many at the end of the round. And if you notice, on the final turn, you discard down to 2. So this is kind of a deadly thing, because these ally cards are great and give you special advantages. But if you have your hand clogged with ally and other cards, it's going to hurt you between turns because you're going to have to discard and lose them. Stuff that's in your suitcase is fine. After 4 acts, after doing this, whoever has the most money in their suitcase is the winner of the game. Plus the bonuses, of course.
All right, let's talk about production-wise. The miniatures and the board and the cards.
I'll be the counterpoint to what you guys are saying. I'll just say outright, I think I like it the least at the table. But you guys go ahead.
Wow, spoiler much? I
like it the least at the table.
I think it's actually, the production value of the minis are great.
Yeah.
Yes.
The board is not confusing. It's not busy. It is.
Okay.
It is functional.
He's circumventing all my points.
It is functional, and I think it's slightly overproduced with the 10s. Have at it,
The
Z.
tins, like the tin
The suitcases?
Yeah, the suitcases.
I love
the
those.
suitcases.
I love those, yeah.
I just think that they're overproduced. The only thing that you use them for is to hide your money, which could be
Yeah.
done easily in some other fashion.
Yeah.
It's just that was like, you don't really need these. They're cool,
Yeah.
but you don't need them.
I agree. The production is, for the most part, really, really well done. I don't like the board is the only thing. I find it to
Really?
be... I like the artwork on the characters a lot. Mm-hmm. The artist did a fantastic job. I really like his style. I don't like the board. It looks fuzzy to me or something, like a little dirty to...
No, I know what you mean. It almost looks like it's a map, and you're like, can I get a new map?
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing it as
period,
clearly
though.
as I'd like, I guess. So
It's period, man.
I don't think it matters because
not a big
the
deal,
map is
but-
not. I love the miniatures and
Yes.
the little pieces and the suitcases. My complaint is that the cards for the items like the guns and the beer and all that are really really plain.
That's true.
Super
they
plain.
almost,
Just an
they
icon
almost,
and-
they almost look like they're not part of the original. I mean, not part of this game. They're adopted from another game almost.
They look like they're prototypes.
Well, they went
Yeah,
for
yeah.
they went for this thing with the marionette strings holding a thing up or whatever, and it's cute. It's a cute idea. It doesn't work that well. You know, it's not attractive.
not with the rest of
It's
the game.
symbolic.
Right?
I mean, it works well because you can quickly read what it is, but it's not pretty. You know,
Yeah.
Okay, well, Godfather. You've seen the Godfather?
a long time ago, sure.
You?
I think I've only seen one of them actually. I'm not a big fan of the movie.
So it's thematic, we're gonna say.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, it's definitely thematic.
Does it feel
but,
like a mobster game though?
Yes.
I think so.
I mean, your whole point, and I guess it's a little bit of, I guess it's a little stereotypical, I guess maybe, but what you're really trying to do is cause havoc and mayhem. First and
Think so?
foremost.
I don't know. I think you're just trying to control areas, and the havoc is like
That's
it's sort of like
exactly
a
that's
follow
one
up
of
to
the
that.
best ways to do it.
Yeah, but you're
You know,
killing
just to
other
kill
people along
people.
the way.
Yeah, sometimes, but
Stealing
I mean,
money.
it feels very much like a Euro game to me, with some meanness on top of that. You know what I mean?
Look, if the Hudson River isn't full of bodies by the end of the game, you're doing
did it
something
wrong.
wrong.
No, I really believe that, you know, we take a look at different games like Rising Sun, as Eric Lang took diplomacy and made it fun, and Blood Rages is he took, you know, whatever, made it fun. This is like he took a Euro game, area control game, and added his own flavor to it.
Right.
So this is not going to be like the gung-ho-ness that you'll see in Blood Rage.
Correct.
But it fits in the same kind of category for me in that thematic game, but has a good structure underneath it. And I love area control, and this one is really fun. You can use the little guys who give you worse area control, but give you a really strong benefit. Or you can use your family members to try to control bigger
control different
regions, but you
places,
get much smaller benefits for doing that. And that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is.
And it also matters who goes first.
Yeah.
It matters, you know, for area control, because that's a lot of points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then you have money, and there's things where you can steal money from other people. So if you get money, you need to be careful. You need to get in your suitcase. But once it's in your suitcase,
Bribing the city officials was a cool thing. Also powerful. They give you
man, I really
new
stink at that part of
abilities.
the game.
Just a lot of cool stuff that's in it. I mean, I really do enjoy the game. Yeah.
I like the game. I think it's a well done game for sure. I mean, there is nothing I could look at and go, this doesn't fit. This thing seems a misstep for the design. I can't see any of that. I just personally don't like the theme. Just I would have much rather had a generic mobster theme. But I know I'm probably in the minority for that because I don't care about The Godfather. And then the other thing is I find the game...
We're not with them.
A lot of people don't.
Not a fan. I didn't say I don't care for it.
Yeah, I don't care for it. And then the other thing, I find the gameplay to be well done, but unexciting for me. I find the arc of what's going on is nice. Things get better. You get more stuff to do, but I find it largely unexciting. I am not sitting around thinking, can't wait to dig into Corleone's empire again. You know, that's
Good, because you ain't invited.
I don't have a seat at that table.
We're flying somebody else in.
Put a horse head in my spot.
No, I actually can see where you're coming from. I think there are parts of the game that are fairly abstracted. Hey, I got three guns. I now
Right.
do this action.
Yeah.
However, I also felt like the game was a lot of fun if you get into it.
Sure.
I'm jumping into it. I'm playing this. I'm going here, and you're talking smack to each other. And it feels like what I like take that games to be. I like games where you're mean to each other if it makes sense in the concept of the game, and here it does. You're not just hitting a guy because he's winning.
Correct.
You're hitting a guy because I want that spot.
Right.
And I need
he's
to go
winning.
here. And well, yeah, but I think the Andy's winning is actually farther down. You're like, I need that resource, and I need this, and I need to control this region. And the fact that you're winning, that's a bonus on top of that.
I don't know. It's also, I found at least, maybe I'm just not as good at picking up on this, but I found that it was more difficult to know exactly who was winning at any point during the game. I mean, you can see who's getting what contracts and all that kind of stuff. Some of the contracts are worth more money than others. So I thought it was more difficult to know for a fact who was winning, so it would make it harder to attack that singular person.
Yeah, that's probably true.
There's enough moving parts where they obscure that enough.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't, you're right, where the primary idea is you're in my way.
Yeah,
I need that
right.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I need to put a car bomb in your car, whatever, right. I need you out of my way. And that's interesting, and you're right that it's targeted sort of hate, and it works well. I just, again, find the general goings on in the game to be... I never have like a stand-up moment in this game, you know. And that's not to say I don't enjoy it. I do like the game. I think it's a great design. And if someone out there likes what's going on in the game and likes The Godfather, you need to stop watching this right now and just go get it, because you're going to dig it. But
I think a lot of people are going to like it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just, again, I found it to be a little Euro-y. I don't know, a little too Euro-y maybe for me.
Who is this person sitting over here?
All right.
I thought that would make you actually like the game.
I think there was a lot of good tension in the game. I thought it was fairly exciting for most of the time. It had its, it would have its climaxes and its valleys, of course, because, that's just the way every game ebbs and flows. But I think there was a great level of tension in the game because you did want to control those things. And you weren't necessarily sure what other people wanted to control. And you would have those times where you would butt heads and you weren't expecting to butt heads. And now that changes your entire mode of play for this round because, oh man, I'm going after the same thing that he wants to go after. How am I going to make sure that I get it and he doesn't, Those kinds of times happened many times throughout the games, those kinds of situations. So I thought there was a fair amount of excitement and tension in the game.
I also felt tension from that hand of cards. Because you're sitting there like, ooh, I'm getting cards. Oh no, I better get rid of these cards.
Right.
And those allies are really useful cards. But they take part of your hand.
I like that. As the game goes on, you'll be different from the other players in what you have purchased or have access to and all that. So I like that too. I like a game that will, by the end of the game, you are considerably different than the way you started and different from everybody else.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I did like the fact that the money was cards as well.
Yeah.
And not paper money. That makes a big deal. That's a big deal for us at least. I do like the tins. I like the little flipping up, flipping it open.
You were just hating on the tins.
I know. I said they were overproduced. They didn't need to be there, but I do like them.
And every family member is a different model.
Yes.
That's pretty neat.
Cool.
That's really cool. The different molds on all of the different models was amazing. It's regular CMON production.
Yeah.
And, we were saying this about Yellow a couple of days ago, about how their artwork is always great. It really seems like CMON can do no wrong when it comes to miniatures and incorporating them well into the game. So it's a great game.
I may not have shown enough enthusiasm here, but I really, really like this game. Okay, there's a few minor quibbles that I have, but for the most part, I really enjoy it. I'm really bad at it. I've lost every time I played, but I plan to add this to my collection. I know that this will stick me in that hole. Well, it's an Eric Lang fanboy thing, but I just like the style here. I like the area control, but you really can be mean to other people, but it's expected too. So, and if you're mean to me, it's not like I'm being taken out of the game.
Right.
I can come back. And the miniatures, the theming on top of that, just really good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's being edited out.
Yeah.
2 Tommy guns up.
That was a shot. 2 Tommy guns up. Is that what you're giving?
Tommy guns.
Did they use Tommy guns in The Godfather?
Yeah,
sure,
of course.
Okay.
Okay, Sam, do it.
I'm going to give this 2 cement shoes way, way up.
2 what? Cement shoes, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's always doing these things upside down now. It's getting confusing.
Wouldn't the cement shoes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I'm gonna give it one. One feline.
That's Inspector Gadget. What are you doing?
I'm like petting Corleone's cat. I don't know. One up because again, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. People are going to call you an Eric Lang fanboy, but you really like the style here. I would consider myself an Eric Lang fanboy, but I don't necessarily like the style here, and I think that's all that is. It's just bringing it down for me a little bit. But what?
That's The Godfather. I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia. Thank you very much.
Sam Healy. See you on
Now
the flip
Elvis
side.
is here?
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.